Hi everyone, it's me, the fabulous Leo Brown. Thank you so much for joining me today and for talking with me. It's 4 a.m. So I'm up late. I'm burning the midnight oil. But anywho, I came on here to talk about to share my thoughts about Hurricane Harvey. Um, I really don't know what to say, to be quite frank. This video is going to be very hard for me to make. I have a lot of, I have a, well, I shouldn't say, well, no, I am. I have a lot of friends in Houston, and, luckily all my friends are safe. They're all good. Everybody's fine. I'm actually considering moving to the Houston area next year, next spring. Uh, so this is hard. This is really difficult because on one hand, seeing the destruction, hearing the horror stories, hearing about the people being rescued, about the people who couldn't make it, about the deaths, seeing the rain. Because I've been watching the local news. I do watch CNN from time to time, but I'm more about the local news because I think this is just me. I think the local news is more accurate. That's just myself versus the more CNN. Not saying that, and I'm not saying that CNN is fake news. It's not. But what I'm saying is, I think CNN is, I think CNN, MSNBC, they tell the truth, but I also think they sensationalize a lot of it too. That's just my personal opinion. Whereas I think with local news, it's calmer. If that makes any sense. The energy is calmer. Um, but anyway, we're not talking about news affiliates or news networks. But this has been difficult for me to see unfold. And actually, I was supposed to be in Houston this week. I was actually going to go to Houston this past week and go out there and apartment hunt and look around because I had to tell you my Houston story. I went to Houston this past spring. I went in April. And I went initially for a business trip. Well, it's a business. It was for an interview and a photo shoot. And I met a friend. And well, actually, I met two friends actually, and made friends. And what I found about Houston was that even though it's a huge city, the people are very, very community minded, and very small town, which for me I love because I'm a native Southerner. I'm not from St. Louis. Um, and I've been living here since I was 20 years old. Um, I'm 36 now. And what I found is that, granted, I have friends here, I have family here. Um, I'm at a point in my life where I'm not happy here anymore. Like it works. It's doable, but it's not something that, is fulfilling. And I really didn't mean to make this personal, but I guess so. And most of my friends, well, actually, majority of my friends, they're either married, have kids, or they're nearing that arena, and I am not. Not that I don't want that, but it's just not in the cards as of yet. So getting back to Houston, so I went to Houston in April, and in the beginning, I didn't like it. I just was like, no, it's not my cup of tea. I don't like, it reminded me of St. Louis, but if St. Louis was more diverse, and if St. Louis got a facelift. So I was like, oh, okay, and better and more food, more variety. Even though I will say this, I think St. Louis, you do have better barbecue. Anywho, so excuse me, didn't want to like it at first, didn't really get into it, and then I got invited to come back. And I came back my second time and fell in love with it. just fell in love with the city, fell in love with the people. And now every city has its ups and downs. Every city has its crime. Every city has its treachery, its murders, its, natural disasters. Every city has it. But I just fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the community spirit that people had, the entrepreneurial spirit that people had, and it was wonderful for me because I saw people that look like me that were doing great things, and I'm just like, I can do it too. And it was and it is so inspiring because not saying that in St. Louis you don't see it, but you don't see it a lot. Um, you know, and and let me also say this: St. Louis is a wonderful city. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have been here this long. Um, you know, St. Louis is a great city and I always say this: I think if you want to get married, have kids, raise a family, um, have your job, have a very simple life, very middle of the road, great city to live in. If you, in my opinion, if you want more than that, probably not. So go to it, fell in love with it, um, you know, and then I end up going back. And this time I went back just to network, just to do more networking, meet people, things like that, which was great. Had a good time. Went back again for the same thing. Networked, had fun, had a good time, enjoyed myself. But this time I ended up meeting a real estate agent. I looked around, and by then I had made my decision to move. So to see the destruction that I've seen over the past week for Hurricane Harvey from the hurricane has been hard for me. Luckily, all my friends that I've made down there are safe and sound and dry. But it's been difficult, to be honest. It's been really difficult because it's like all that potential, all that work, all that growth just gone, and I'm not gonna lie, like putting myself in it, I'm like, well, dang, if I go down there, what would I go to? You know what I mean? Like, would I be needed? Would I be welcomed? Because let's be honest, when you have something as catastrophic as that happen, it changes you. It changes the energy of the city because the energy of the city for me of Houston has always been very welcoming and very like supportive and sweet and kind. And it may change. It may completely shift. And so seeing this, seeing the people being evacuated, seeing the levees being, um, I don't I don't want to say drained because I don't think that's what they're doing, but seeing the reservoirs, seeing the bayous, and all of that. But it's funny for my friends who are either native Houstonians or who have been there longer. They're like, please, we in the house, we chilling, we eating, we we're good. And I'm going, how? How can you be good? You're going through a hurricane. How can you be, happy? But they're still happy, and they're like, well, we're enjoying our off day. And a lot of my friends have told me, like, it depends on location, it depends on where you are in Houston, it depends on, excuse me, how your house is built, it depends on how your apartment is built, things like that. So, I won't lie and say that I don't have concerns, but I didn't come on here to vent about that, but I just wanted to like share my thoughts, because now people are worried now. Everybody, the economy, this is going to affect everyone, not just Houstonians, but everybody, everybody across the globe, like even me living in the Midwest, this affects us too. Because this affects gas prices, this affects inflation, this affects food, because we get a lot of our stuff is imported from other cities, so this affects a lot of things that maybe before we won't think about. But the one thing that I've been impressed with is seeing how compassionate people have been, how they've been opening up schools, and people are driving, literally driving to Houston, from other cities, and helping people and delivering food and donating and giving money and all that kind of stuff. And for me, if you follow me on Facebook, and I'm gonna leave a link below, you can follow me on Facebook and you can donate to the Houston Food Bank via my Facebook page. So I'm gonna leave a link for that to where you can donate to them and raise them a little money, because every little bit helps. It can be $5, $10. It's still something. Um, I don't know. It's just sad to see, and I guess for me, it's one of the first cities where like for me, I just fell in love with. Like I felt, I felt like I belonged. Not saying that I don't belong here. That's not what I'm saying, because this will always be my foundation. This will always be home. But Houston for me has become a second home. Houston for me has been, for me, it represents so many different things. It represents independence. It represents freedom. It represents growth. It represents diversity. It represents being self-made and doing well, that you can make it, having support, community, all of that. It's just so much that for me it represents. And like I said, this is really sad for me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there have been times where I haven't slept. There have been times where I'm like, I wish I could go down there. I want to help. Like I was telling a friend of mine 2 days ago, I was like, I want to come back and I want to help, the city. I want to help Houston. I want to do something, because Houston has given to me what something I've never really had for me, to see my own face staring back at me. But I guess people don't understand that. Maybe you do, but it's just a wonderful thing to see. It's so empowering to see your home doing well. And if you understand that, leave a comment. If you don't, it's cool. But it's so nice to see. It's so wonderful, because it lets you know, it's like, you can do this. Your hard work isn't for nothing. Uh, it's a great feeling. And I said I wasn't gonna cry, so I'm not going to. Um, but it's a wonderful feeling for me, and just to see that, to see that staring back at me, it's like when you go somewhere and you meet your crew. You finally know, okay, I know my tribe. I met the people that I gel with, and of course, I know not everybody is, sunshine and lollipops. I'm not stupid, but excuse me, it's just been a wonderful, it was a wonderful experience. It was great to see, and it touched my heart, and and for me, Houston will always have a place in my heart, even if I don't move out there. If I choose to stay out here, I don't know, I doubt it, but if I choose to stay out here, Houston will always have a place in my heart. So I just wanted to come on here and say that and talk about it. You can leave your comments below on this. If you are affected by this hurricane, I really want to hear your stories. Like, please comment, on it. Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a discussion. Because even in that, that was one thing that a lot of my Texas friends were telling me. They were like, just you calling me and you checking on me is enough. That's helping me get through this, because a lot of them are going, they're like, we're not flooded, but we're having cabin fever. We don't have anyone to talk to. And I'm like, well, let me call, and check on them. Let me text people and, Facebook message and call them and let them know if, are they okay? And then you watching the news and it just looks like delirium and chaos going on. You know what I mean? So it's just so much. And like I said, I want to get back. And then we have 45 coming in tomorrow, or today rather, which I'm not happy about. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not happy about that at all. That's just me. Because Houston, despite what people say about Texas, Houston is a very progressive city. And I just don't think this is going to be a good idea. I just don't. But, and besides, you came in 5 days too late. You're coming in right at the tail end. But whatever, we won't go into that. But anywho, but I will say this: I definitely give my thanks to the servicemen, the National Guard, the volunteers, to the people that are to the Cajun army that's coming in, like to everybody. And I just say, if you are a victim of this, if this is affecting you in any way, be safe, stay dry, evacuate, do what they tell you to do. Call the authorities, call the proper authorities. If you want to donate, I'm going to leave a list below of numbers and places. Like if you're a victim, I'm going to leave a list below of places you can go and things like that, and numbers you can call, and hopefully you can get through and get help, because I know this is going to be a lifetime of stuff. But I believe in Houston. I really do. And I know that they will rebuild and come back bigger than what they were before. It may take some time, but it's going to happen. And I'd like to be a part of that. So who knows? But, just wanted to come on and say that. But thank you for listening to me vent and talk about this and get this off my chest. And until next time, it's me, the fabulous Leo Brown. And I will talk to you guys later. Okay? Have a wonderful night. Stay safe. Be good to yourselves. And I love you all.